So what I did is I twisted the narrative around, and I said in my essays, I had mentioned that, curiosity is what has gotten me this far. I have been able to work in 2 out of the 5 big tech because of my curiosity. I've changed the narrative into making that as a strength.
So Anuhya, thank you so much for doing this, chat with us. And I would like to start by congratulating you again for making it to, the ISB's prestigious PGP program. And I know how much of a hard and smart work you have done to arrive here. So, congratulations again. Okay. So the whole purpose of doing these chats, Anuhya, essentially is to help, give some advice, understanding and inputs to the future prospective applicants so that they can also plan their journey and, help with their aspirations of achieving the PGP admissions at ISB. So let's start by understanding your academic and personal profile. Professional profile.
Okay. I graduated from GPM University in Vizag in 2018. I started off my career at a marketing agency in Hyderabad called PAD, where I was a client servicing agent. And then I worked with Uber, where I was handling their social media pages. And then I was with Amazon for about 8 months, where I was on their seller support. And then when Apple showed up, I wanted to get through to Apple. So right now I'm currently working on the Siri team at Apple. That's my professional experience so far.
Great. So Anuhya, you had decent ACADS, and I know your GMAT score, that was lower than the class average. And when we look at your experience, you have experience into 4 different companies, and that too in less than 5 years of work experience. So it must not have been an easy application to build, compared to other people who have worked in 1 or 2 jobs in the 5 years. So what was your application strategy and what were the primary focus areas?
So what I basically did was, I did understand that this was something that when I was getting interviewed for my job at Apple, the interviewer had focused a lot about me switching jobs. And that's when I really understood that does hold off as a red flag. So what I did is I twisted the narrative around, and I said in my essays, I had mentioned that, curiosity is what has gotten me this far. I have been able to work in 2 out of the 5 big tech because of my curiosity. I've changed the narrative into making that as a strength. And that's what I've put up in the profile as well, in the application. And that helped me. I feel like that helped me get through to the interview. And in the interview, I did not get questioned about why I had shifted companies, but they did ask me details about the roles. And I was able to answer them as much as I could. And, it was a good experience, and I'm glad that they didn't focus on me shifting companies. But the curiosity bit has really, helped me a lot, I would say.
Right. And how much, by after submitting the application, when did you receive the interview call, and how much time did they give you to prepare for the interview?
I got the deadline was September 4th for ISB. After that, I got my email around October 2nd or, the first week of October that I'd been shortlisted for the interview. And I had gotten the interview message about 10 days prior to my interview call, which is 22nd was my interview. So 12th is when I was told.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So I had a decent 10 days to prepare for my interview, including the whole mantra process.
Okay. I must say you are lucky to get 10 days because majority of the students just got 1 week's time to prepare and, do the interview.
Yeah.
And, you signed up with us for the interview preparation. During this process, you went through, mock interviews and counseling sessions with different experts at ISBmantra.
Yeah.
Please tell us about how the different sessions helped you streamline your thoughts, and how did you see your approach changing through these different sessions which you attended?
I think, you know, being interviewed for a business school requires a bit of preparation outside of your scope of understanding, because the way that a person understands your profile is a different process from where a person is hiring you for a job. It's not the same thing. They're completely different interviews, and we need to kind of address it that way. And that's why I signed up for a consulting process, right? I knew that I had never been interviewed in such a way where I'd actually be grilled down. So I knew that this was the first to me, and I knew I needed help. So that's why I ended up taking up a consulting process. In terms of what really helped me was, there was a career strategy session which helped me kind of figure out why. I don't exactly remember who I had this conversation
Dr.
with.
Naveen Das?
Most likely. So he said something around the lines of, he asked me a question about what do you where do you see yourself, or what do you want from your career? And I said, yeah, I want. And he said, be candid. So I was like, yeah, I want this kind of life. I want that. I want comfortable thing. He said, no. What is it exactly that you want? In terms of how will you contribute to the people around you? How will you contribute to your organization? And that really stuck to me, that I reused that part of contribution in multiple other interviews that I've given to other business schools as well. It gives you a very holistic, and it helps you introspect about what you would want from the process. The more you think about these questions, the more of how do I put it? It opens you up to more of figuring it out within yourself, kind of thing. It's not a one-way road, I would say. And
Right.
that's great. Yeah.
Great, great. And how much how was your interview experience with ISB, and what were the key areas of discussion during the interview?
So they had the interview lasted for about 30 minutes. There were two Allens on the panel. I think they all have a good cop, bad cop scenario happening.
Right.
So one person is always receptive, and the other person is very sorry, because the minute that I walked out, I saw other people like ganged up, and it turns out that it's the same process for everybody as well. So the questions, obviously, I'll just walk you through whatever that I remember. It was, tell me about yourself. They had asked me a lot of questions about my present role, even though that I had told them that I'm bound by an NDA. I can't get into the details, but I think it's very, very important to be prepared about your present role. And the one specific question they had asked me was, you told that you use your contextual knowledge to figure out whether Siri is doing the right thing or not. And the exact question they had asked me was, what if the person beside you decides that this is wrong, but you think that this is right? How do you tackle that issue? I said, 600 people doing the same job, at some point, most of the people will lean towards that. And that's what you think will be the right thing. That's how, customer journey works. And so that's where the conversation about my job had ended. After that, they asked me about my small business. They had asked me about some behavioral questions about how I use my strength to uplift the team that I was working with. Some behavioral questions like that. But the most important and apart from that, the last part of the interview was about products that I like, and products that could have been better with better marketing. One question was, what do you think that's a great product, but could have done better with better marketing? And I kind of I said, I need a little bit of time to think about it, but I didn't have a very, I wasn't very confident with my answer. But nevertheless, I just I just told them, ki, I don't really think there's something like that. There are a few things that every product does right, and that's my opinion about it. I don't think with all of these questions, I don't think there's a right and a wrong answer. I think it's about how you portray your thoughts about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Great. So Anuhya, now that you have an admit,
Mhm.
what are you looking forward, most at ISB, and are there any specific things you are planning to do before you join the campus?
I do remember asking the interviewers what I wanted to do, what I should do before joining. I had asked a bunch of people right here also. We had a meet and greet recently, so I had asked them, okay, what do you think we should do to prepare? They said, quit your job early, take a break. So that's something I'm looking forward to do before that. And they said, be adept at like learning Excel, or be quick on your fingertips about that. And at ISV, to be very honest with you, I'm very interested in getting to know the people. I really want to be an important part of the alum. At Geetam, I was an important part of the college. People still remember me, and people still value me as a good alumni, and that's where I also feel like there's more of a legacy for me to leave behind at ISB. I feel I don't want to overwhelm myself with a bunch of clubs, but at the same time, I want to be a very important part of the puzzle. And considering Mohali is a smaller cohort, I think it would be it wouldn't be a big of a challenge. I do see myself at some clubs, but I don't want to join a bunch of clubs and do small things. I want to join one club where I feel that I can add maximum value. Maybe
Yeah.
the marketing club. I have met a person who has done phenomenal work with the policy club at
Right.
Mohali. So
Right.
maybe stick to one thing and excel in that. And maybe if it'll take me a month to figure it out, I will take that time. But yeah, that's my plan of action.
Great. Excellent. So Anuya, before we wrap up, what's your advice to the prospective applicants?
Um, I would say no matter what, even if you're so basically, before even signing up with ISB Mantra, I did have a bunch of mock interviews with people that have passed out from ISB and everything.
Mhm.
Although that was good, I still feel like you should have mock interviews and a lot of preparation prior to your actual interview. And for applicants per se, don't make like a weak application, because they will grill you down to like the very specifics of the application. Whatever that you're putting in, you should be able to talk about it with confidence.
Yeah.
That's the only whatever sentence that you're writing. If I say that I have run about 10 kilometers in the last yesterday, there should be something to kind of talk about it. I can't say, oh yeah, it was easy. That's not the way you go, right? So you make sure that there's a story to it. Make sure it all comes down together, boils down together into this beautiful strawberry jam, I would say.
So they should be able to corroborate what they have
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the application. Yes,
definitely.
this is one of the mistakes I have seen many students, doing it,
Mm.
where they write fancy things, but when it comes to the interview, when there are questions asked around it, they're not able to corroborate,
Yeah,
and that kind of changes the direction of the interview.
and it's not like your interviewers are just passed out people. They're people with
Yeah,
life experience.
correct,
It's quite easy to see through that.
correct. And were the interview panel members of similar background? Did you find?
No, they just told them, to be honest, after they told me their names, I was immediately wiped out. I was so nervous. But I don't think so. I don't think so. I remember one in the FMCG space and one in maybe the tech space or something. I don't think they weren't even in the similar. One passed out in 2014, one passed out in 2007.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a considerable age difference between both.
Right, right.
But also, an additional advice is that it's very important to kind of figure out what works for you in an interview. For me, holding a piece of paper and a pen gives me a lot of confidence in order to figure out, even if they don't give me a problem to solve, just holding the pen in my hand gives me confidence. I think those little tricks that you kind of figure out with your mock interviews is important, and it's an individual process. So that's something that you get a hold of as you interview.
Great. Okay, Anuhya, thank you so much for doing this chat with us, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
This
Thank you.
52 weeks roller coaster ride gonna become gonna start soon.
Yeah.
And yes, whoever told you that take a break and make the most of it, it's really true, because once your campus life starts, and that's it. So you will have to actually choose whether to make use of that free time to sleep and relax, or do more networking and do more things which you want to do on the campus.
Yeah.